Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back. And today's the first day, or I guess will be day 2, but it'll be the first day of modding. So before you start laughing at what you see before you, we are very much in beta mode. So the Giants editor for Farming Simulator 25 has not released yet. So I'm not able to apply textures. I'm not able to apply the new potential UDIM system or material system that they're using in the new game. So right now you're looking at some really funny looking machines. As you can see, all these little cubes that are on there are the tiles for the UDIM spacing for applying textures and applying different colors and shapes and all that stuff. So everything looks hilarious right now. But until that editor comes out, I can only do some really baseline stuff playing in the game and testing. But so far, testing has worked out really well. The mods have come over efficiently outside of the textures and them looking really hilarious. A lot of the stuff that I was worried about is pretty much solved. So this one is the Cat 325. This is just very starting stuff here, so it's a little ugly and not perfect yet, so please don't take this as gospel of any means of the mods. So one of the big changes I spoke about that I was really excited for is in that Platinum DLC, it was the first time they introduced excavators. Anything, track machines, basically, other than, like maybe the in-game Raptor, that kind of thing. So now we have the tracks that are optimized for FS25. So as I explained in my last video, the tracks in the previous game that I had, so Farming Simulator 22, those tracks were very, very, very unoptimized. They were very high poly count, high vertice count. They took up a lot of performance and they had glitches and they didn't look super great. So now rolling over to FS25, one thing that I was really excited for was the ability to add these tracks, which are base game tracks, to these machines. So again, take for note, this is beta, not even beta, alpha version of the mods right now. So like the track scaling is way off. It sits up way too high. They're not positioned correctly. Everything's just wonky as hell right now. So don't look at anything as a final product. I just want to show you guys how the development is going step by step, because it's kind of fun to show it off, and how the conversions went. So the input bindings for the mods transferred over beautifully. So if you have the mods installed just like we did in Farming Simulator 22, you can go right down to the bottom and we have all of our FDR input bindings down here. So we scroll over here, you'll be able to see your settings. So I did have an issue when I first started with the game not detecting my right joystick for whatever reason. Even though it says, they both say right, one's left, one's right. But it detected the left one, but not the right one, and I don't know what that was all about. So I just unplugged them and plugged them back in a different USB port, and then suddenly they popped up and showed in the game. So it worked. It worked then, and it seems to be working now. And the game so far has saved all of my bindings. I don't need to disable the Steam cloud or anything crazy like that. Another thing, when you're mapping these controls, you don't actually have to click and try to figure out which joystick it is. If you click on this joystick and push a button on the other joystick, it'll automatically go to that one. So it's kind of nice if you're going through here. You don't have to make sure you're on this one to highlight it. So if I click here, but say I click the right joystick instead of the left, it'll actually put it on this side automatically. It won't accidentally map it in here. So that was kind of neat, because I thought, oh man, it's going to be annoying having to remember which side I'm on to set the controls, but it does it all automatically, so that's really really beneficial. So yeah, the controls went over just fine, and as far as operating, again, take the look of everything with a grain of salt here. As you can see, it's all still very untextured, but all the controls have pretty much gone across identically. If you have them set up like you had them in FS22, it'll be pretty much identical across the board. So all the swing and all that stuff, it feels exactly the same as FS22. Well, it is exactly the same as FS22 in terms of controls. So that's pretty exciting. So I do have a few things I was testing. Now, you're going to laugh. So none of these have tracks. None of these have tires at the moment. So I have a skidder here that's floating in the air. It does not have any tires dynamically loaded. They are there. If you go to the physics level, you can see the tires are actually there. but they're not actually active in the moment, so no visuals. So again, everything is still UDIM checkered here too. Looks like a big camouflage dealio, but I just basically wanted to test out the machines to see if the functionality was still there. And so the functionality is still there, but it feels a little weird, and I don't quite understand what it is. Until I get the Giants editor, I won't be able to quite figure out what's going on with the physics, because it does feel like a little floaty. Everything feels a little like a lack of gravity, I guess you could say. I don't know how to really describe it. But as you can see, like this is the buncher here. The buncher transferred over beautifully. The physics are identical to what they were in the last game. So again, you can go cut and drop your trees like normal. So this is a really good first start. Again, we don't have tracks on this machine or anything, so I know the visuals are murder, but it will look beautiful when I'm done with it, I promise. We're just not quite there yet. I think the Giants editor should be out within the next week. I think last time it was 10 days or something after the game came out, somebody told me, before it was public. But as you can see, the buncher's still doing exactly the same beautiful job it did in FS 22. The cut nodes are all still lined up. All my dynamics are exactly the same, which I was really worried I'd have to rework everything, but the dynamics are all exactly the same. They work really, really well. There's a few little things that are changed, a few things that have changed that I'll have to work on, but I'm not too worried about that. There's always going to be little hurdles when you're getting into a new redone engine. Most of it's just names of the coding. The coding is generally the same. They just reword it or redo it for their own entertainment. So again, we have the skidder, our tireless skidder. All the camera angles are good. It still picks up nice. I don't think the locking straps are functioning on this one. Oh, yes they are. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's interesting. So that's something I didn't test. Oh, interesting. So when I lock my straps, it automatically grips up. That's so strange. I wonder what that's all about. So you guys are learning something with me together here in this video. So that was really odd. Oh, weird. So that is really interesting. Huh. Well, this I haven't actually tried. So you guys are watching this live with me right now. What seems to be happening is the physics, are they still live? Oh yeah, they're still live, but for whatever reason they are floating with the grapple. That's so weird. See, like as I pick it up, see how it's flying up in the air? So this is what I mean by there's like some weird floatiness going on with the physics, and I can't quite understand what's going on with that. So if I turn off the locking straps, they actually act very normal, the logs. But with the locking straps, huh. So maybe they made some changes to the locking straps that I wasn't aware of to make it a little more efficient. This will be all fun stuff that we get to discover as we play. So I'm going to... Oh, we're losing our logs here. That's why I normally use locking straps. Okay, so I'm just going to dump these here so we can show off some of the processor and stuff. Oops. See, I don't know where my tires are, so... I can't aim my load here. There we go. So I'm just going to dump those there. So yeah, it's a strange kind of floaty feeling. I don't know. I really can't describe it. I don't know if it's the ground or the way the stuff reacts. It's the same with like the grapples and stuff. Like the grapples are all... They still grab well, but the logs feel like, I don't know, it's like they're floaty or lighter or something. I don't know how to describe it. It's very different from the FS22 version of the logs. But I mean, it still seems to work somewhat efficiently. Everything transferred over well. Dynamically, physics, the only issue is obviously, well, the biggest issue is the visuals. I still got to work with the dynamics and stuff a little bit. But as you can see, so we got, this is the South Star processor head. And this guy, so the scripting for the delimbing seems to still be functioning. So if I wave that over top of the logs, I can see the limbs are coming off. So I'm just going to manually run it. So this isn't, I haven't actually hit the cut button yet. I'm just manually running it back and forth. And that script has stayed working. So I can still delimb the tree manually. and pull the logs through. So that's good. I was actually really glad that that worked. But again, it's like the physics are lighter. I don't know how to describe this. So normally on the other game, like these rollers are like crazy super grip, right? But it's like the trees are reacting differently. Like they have a different type of collision or something. That's only stuff I'll be able to discover once I actually get into the new editor so I can play around. So my goal is going to be trying to get that same similar heavier kind of feel that we had in FS22. Because right now, like I said, it does feel a little bit floaty, I guess would be the way to do it. But I'm really happy that the majority of the dynamics transferred over. So I don't have to rebuild a lot of this stuff. All of the visuals are getting redone. So the stuff you're seeing now, like the models, even though there's no texture on them, they're all getting redone. I have them already built and ready to go. I just need to actually scale them and match them to the visuals in the game here. And I think it'll work out really good. But as you can see, the processor is doing exactly how it does. Most of the mods transferred over well. There's a few that did not. So we're going to be missing maybe a couple things from the new game that won't be there right away. They might come back later on, but so there's our little pile. The other thing that transferred over was the trucks. So the truck transferred over. I'm actually just going to buy a new one here. So this category thing is kind of a nightmare to try to go find your stuff under a specific category. So I recommend once you get these mods, I just go under tags for the brands up here and just scroll down and then go to FDR Logging. It's way easier because then you're always going to have all the FDR Logging stuff in one pile. It is nice to have these in a down square so I can just scroll through all the machines now as opposed to having to go through that never-ending line of machines. So this is actually a lot more efficient for doing this. So again, we have the other trucks here. Again, there's no textures on them, so we're just going to lease one here. I think I have a trailer already there that I was going to pull. I also have a machine under the ground somewhere, but we won't worry about that. So there you go. It almost looks good red, hey? But so like I said, dynamics loaded in really well. Everything seems to be pretty good on it. The lighting stuff is something I still got to work on. I got to get that fixed. See, there's no lights in any of these sockets here. And I think I know exactly what's going on there. It's just shader stuff that's hasn't come through. So what I was going to do is I was actually going to do a test load with you guys. Because I actually haven't loaded a trailer or even attempted it since getting this all sorted out. This all just happened today, the transferring over part. So like I said, we're not there at all yet, so I'm not going to make the claim. I actually got hit by a train here, so I got to take her real easy. Oh, here it comes. Screw that. I'm going to wait for it. It's like it knows when I'm going to go through, and then it... Because last time I was like pulling through with the low bed and the thing on it, and it just smoked me and got me. So, there goes the train. It seems to be on a pretty fast loop, that one, I'll tell you. There you go. Now we're safe. Watch, it'll have like a secret buggy behind it just to... Haha, surprise, smash. Well, this is a really small spot to try to squeeze this trailer through here, but we're trying. Oh. Make it? Oh, not quite. Uh-oh. This is not supposed to be part of the video, watching me fail miserably here. There we go. Okay. And our lot is like right over there, so I just need to get... Oh, actually, no, I'd probably do better just going all the way back here. I promise once I have logging maps, which is going to be something I'm going to be working on right away, or as soon as I can get to the Giants editor rolling, we won't have this problem. We will have nice foresty areas to go pursue. Because there's nothing worse than having to go over to a crappy field and manually plant a bunch of trees. I want some forest to work on, man. I think my thing is turning because of my pedals here on the floor. Yeah, I should be able to, yeah, I can cut right through here. Okay, so basically what I want to do is I just want to test this. This is the 4-bunk hay rack trailer. And I just want to throw some logs on it and see how it feels. There we go. I did a low bed test. It was somewhat working. I'll show you guys what's happening, and I don't understand why, but more things to look at. Some weird LODs on these trees. It makes them look like they're floating in the air. I wonder if that's just like an issue. So like from back here, you see at that angle, see how the tree looks like, let's get a little closer here. See, as I turn it, kind of like looks, the bottom of that tree back there is like disappearing. I've noticed that. These are not custom trees. These are just in-game trees, so not some special FDR ones or anything. And I think we cut these all to 7s, so I keep going to go lift stuff. it's not how she works. Not yet, anyway. So let's put this down right over here. And it'll probably just roll away. I think it's the ground just doesn't... It's like the ground has no friction sometimes or something. It's really weird. So we're going to go for a little walk here. And we're going to load our textureless trailer. Looking at the way they did the textures, I was watching a couple of videos from the FarmCon there. It might actually be really beneficial. So remember how I was talking about the shininess being missing from that one machine? So I don't know if I have anything shiny on here. Sort of, not really. Oh, you see a little bit of shine there off that. So inside the new Giants editor, when I was watching the FarmCom videos, you can actually set that, and I've been begging for that for a long time. So they have a slider on the material itself that lets you choose how shiny each individual material is on the machine. So technically, I will be able to control the gloss level of everything on there, which is, oh my god, that is so good if that works out. So let's grab a couple grabs here and test this out. I'm swinging over the cab. Yes, I know this. I'm not loading properly. I'm just doing a test here for all those over the cab swinging haters out there. I'm actually way too close to my truck here too. We're not doing real logging. This is baloney fake test logging. So that loads up all right. My big thing I'm testing here for loading is to see how they settle in the bunks. That's a big one. We should probably cut more trees if we really want to get a full test here. So they actually, you know what? Stock, they're not terrible for loading. They just feel really light or like floaty. Like, see how they like really easily to move around? Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. Really easy to move them around on the ground. Like it's the ground friction, I think, is the problem. Like, look how they slide. Like that's just a little too much. So when I get custom, like the custom logging maps that'll be coming eventually here, that's something I'm going to be changing. So whether I change the terrain itself to have more friction, all the logs are going to probably need more friction too. Like in the Grapple, they feel pretty secure. Let's do a pencil test here. Yeah. It's okay. They do a little bit of a slip, but not like crazy, I guess. Oops. Depth perception. I'm also in a weird FOV. I gotta try to remember what my FOV was from FS22. I'm gonna go over and grab these other logs over here too. So we got these kind of weirder, wankier big ones here. And these are just weird shaped. But they seem to not have as big of a bubble, and I think that's due to that effect. So if we get out and look at these guys, there's less, like these are pretty close, like they're right on contact with each other, which I'm glad they fixed. There's a little bit of spots where it does stick up, so you can see like the orange sticks up off the actual visual layer. So that orange is the collision, right? The physics layer. And you can see here it sticks up just a little bit, but really that is greatly improved from the last game. I still prefer the much straighter trees than these crooked ones, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. Well, we're not really beggars, are we? But even the way the grapples react, it's almost like they've been dumbed down a bit. It's really, really strange. So like these grapples have the exact same physics properties from FS22 transferred right over. And yet, when I go to grab logs, they seem to be more like, I don't know, like less strong, I guess you could say. I also noticed my physics are a little weird here. That could just be my sketchy tires. Because I have these tiny little tires. You can laugh at them, but those will be getting improved. But it feels almost like sometimes like it's going through the ground or something. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe because the camera has no suspension or something. Lots of stuff we still have yet to learn. And again, waiting for the Giants editor to be able to figure that out. So you get like a little bit of suspension roll here. Let's try off track. So off track loading is when you're not right on the side. It should be a lot more tippier. I mean, it doesn't feel terrible. We're also going to test the hill practice. So I wanted to see if the tracks can handle going uphill. So one thing you're going to find, it's going to make you guys laugh or cry, one or the other. One thing you're going to find that's really funny, and I'll have it fixed before the mod's ever released, but one really funny thing is the... Jeez Louise. Is the machine. So if you get this machine close to... Actually, a good picture. If you get this machine close to an edge and it tips over and rolls upside down, it actually falls through the map. And I think it's just a collision mask issue. I hope so. But it's stuff I haven't figured out yet, and I'm sure that's again the Giants editor stuff. So, oh hey, you know what? We can test another thing. Will these lock to the loader arm? So let's try to pull away really gently here and see. Yeah, so implements will still lock to the machine. So as you see, as I'm lifting, I'm locked to that load of logs that's right there. All right, so we're gonna unlock it, swing that head out of the way here, and then we'll lock her down. And the sound effects actually transferred over well. There's still a few hundred errors in there that I need to replace, but it's mostly sound related, which is kind of funny. I figured it would have been like something way more drastic. So the other thing I was going to check once we get a little bit away from this loader here, I wanted to check the squirm. The squirm check. I want to see how much these things are squirming around in the bunk. So I can see them squirming a little bit, but not like crazy. So let's see, is there anything I can actually pick up here? They're probably all too hefty. So what I usually do is I can actually just drive if I drive the truck ahead like a little bit, you can see the physics reacting. Let's see how fast they settle. Not very fast. I don't know if are they live? They should be. So if I shut this truck off and don't move, do the physics settle, or is that different now? Looks pretty good. And then I was going to cut down a whole bunch of trees and see how much we could do. So when I lock, I noticed the whole truck kind of like sucks to those logs a bit. Let's go for a little drive here. There we go. Okay. So one thing we had in FS22 was the locking and unlocking of the logs. That was always an issue. Because the logs would kind of bind up, so as I'm turning really sharp, the logs would start creeping, and they don't seem to be really moving at all. They look pretty okay. So if I unlock it, they do rise up a bit. I can see it, but it's almost they almost look a bit softer. It's almost like they're dampened or something. It's kind of strange. Very interesting. It'll be fun playing with the textures. Some of these trees I actually don't mind the look of them. I don't like the crooked ones so much, but the straight pole ones, I bet we can probably make them work pretty good. It's about time we switch over to a new type of tree anyway. The stuff in the old game were kind of ugly trees. Oh, so I can see them slipping around a little bit on this side. So as I turn here, you see that one? It kind of jitter a bit. You kind of really got to be looking, but... And the reason I'm driving in a circle is because it binds them up and it puts the most pressure on them from the locking straps in a physics type way. And I think what it is, it's like maybe the dampening, angular dampening that's happening. It's causing them to kind of bind up while I'm going really fast. So if I unlock it, they should pop up a bit. Oh, not really. They moved around a little bit, but not like crazy. Again, like something's going on with the physics that has changed, and I don't know if it's a dampener or what's going on there. Ultimately, the physics are pretty much exactly the same as the previous game, but they have added a new thing on them. That could be to do with the collision masks. So now we're going to really quickly do maybe an unload here. And just see how it goes here. Again, I parked too close. I think I'm closer than I am because my FOV is so low that it feels like I'm right up close. Normally I sit back quite a bit. So let's try this again. So that's at full grab, as hard as I can grab. And then, I mean, it's all right. Oops, so we wipe out our processor. So I'm going to just put this pile back over here. I'm actually going to save this too. Oh, it's going to do it for me. Good man. So yeah, I'm sorry if this content's boring for some people, but it's all part of the fun of getting into the modding process, is seeing what you're changing, seeing what's going on, what's new, what am I going to have to work on. Now, again, I have nothing but time to kill waiting because obviously the Giants editor program has not been released yet, so I can't really get too hardcore into them. The fact that they even converted without having an editor at all, and just I did all of this trying to convert them and play with the physics, all from just reading the scripts without any visual. It was kind of funny. Just scripts and reading numbers and stuff, which tells you how disgustingly obsessive I am with this. You can just do it. Now, if I was good enough to be able to replace the textures with just numbers and editing, that would be pretty impressive, but unfortunately, I'm not that cool. That's a terrible grab. Oops, what am I caught on here? Oh, I think I'm just too far forward. So you still get a little bit of the jitters. It could be these models too, because these models are still very high poly. The new ones that are coming in when I actually get the visual side going will be much less poly content, so it should be a little smoother, because they could be the reason I'm getting lag here when I turn. But as you can see, my frame rate in the top right there, it kind of jumps around a bit. There we go. Oop. Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty good. It's a good start. Like I said, I just gotta, the visuals will be the big one. But, I mean, the logs themselves, I'm not terribly upset about. These actually are pretty good. Like, as far as loading goes. Like I said, there's a little bit of weird angles going on in there, but we might actually be able to work with these tree shapes. They're not perfect, but no trees really are super perfect when you're logging. These are pretty close to what ideally would be good. And like I said, they're settling well together in a group. Like looking at this pile, that's really, really good. There's not a lot of gap going on. There's not a lot of spacing. Even the ones I had before in FS22, the straight ones, I don't think even settle that close together because of the collisions. So, I mean, that's a pretty positive vibe, I think. Okay, anyway, so that's a little bit of that. You guys will see more of this as I go. The only thing I don't like is the feeling of it, like, being really light. Like, see how light? So maybe what I'm going to have to do is adjust the weight of the actual, I don't know, maybe the weight of the machines, bring it down? No, I don't want to do that either, because I think we'll lose our grip. 'Cause, I mean, even that, holding that, making the machine, like, heavy just from those logs. I did play around with the in-game machines a little bit, and they're still really light. I was hoping they'd amp them up a little bit, but man, you can barely lift like this little grouping without the machine wanting to get really tippy. So that's why I keep the weight where it is, but it feels really overpowered. So I might end up bringing the weight down of the machine a bit. Let's go for a walk here for a second. I would like a full tree. Oh, there is a full tree over here. Let's grab that. And the reason I want a full tree is I want to test how it handles a heavy full-size tree. Let's just grab all this stuff here. So, like, those grabs are good. Like I said, the logs are sitting very tightly in my grapple. Like, they're really nice. I can see that there's not a lot of gapping. Obviously, they're wriggling around like worms because there's way too much grab strength. I think that's what's going on. Oh, and I just saw something happen. One sec here. Did that feature stay where they turn a little? Okay, good. So that's still there. I said my dynamics stayed, but let's see here. So I noticed that when I picked those up, so if you pick them up and spin them around, that's when I used to get it where they would stick to the grapple. And then you go to drop them. Oh, no, it's good. Okay. I was hoping it didn't somehow come back, the problem we had before. because that would have made me very sad. But I will definitely be making, even if I use these logs, like I don't mind the logs. I might want to texture them differently or add different textures to them. But I don't actually mind the physics in terms of the shape of the log. The shapes aren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. I'm just going to manipulate this guy. So again, they feel really light. It's really kind of weird. And maybe that's the case. Maybe these are just really light. Here, we're going to do one more quick test while I'm standing here. I'm going to cut this guy down full length, full size. And then I'm going to grab it, and I want to see how it reacts to that. Until we get the easy development mod out, then I'll be able to just spawn trees for testing. So again, the textures are okay-ish. It's kind of weird that they have like higher texture and then like these really low poly branches. I don't know what that's all about. But luckily we have that awesome processor that'll be coming here, so you guys will be able to experience all the glory. So this is a hefty tree by the looks of it. So my machine should struggle with it a bit if it's weighted correctly. But see, it's like nothing. Like, that's a heavy tree. Like, my machine should be toppling over. Like, especially that far of an extension. If I go a little further, it might do it. But even that, I shouldn't just be starting to get a tip now. Like, look at the size of that frickin' thing. So the trees are not weighted heavier. I don't know. So I got to figure that one out. It might mean me bringing down the machine weights then to try to make them fight with the machines a bit. I don't know. This will be one of those fun learning moments together. I was hoping that part would stay pretty relatively the same, but I mean, like, I shouldn't, like, it's way too easy to manipulate this tree. Like, that's ridiculous. Way too easy. So maybe what they did is they brought down the weight of these trees to try to compensate for us, everybody complaining about the base game vehicles not being able to handle the trees. But I did go in and look, and the density on the trees is pretty much identical. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. So now what I was going to do is I'm going to show you guys, I haven't actually tested this yet. So this is the old track configurations that I just updated in that 2.2 patch for the last game. What are we? So that's reverse. This is forward. So again, the tracks are beautiful. I'm really excited about that. I love the look of the tracks. I think they look fantastic. And actually, the winches actually transferred over too. I haven't actually tested the winches, but the winch script came over perfectly well. B. What the heck is it? I can't remember this. B. Well, it's not actually letting me attach it to that. Can I not attach it to a raw tree anywhere? I don't know how far this winch will go. Eventually. Oh, it's letting me go pretty far with it. So the winch seems to work, but... Oh, come on. So close. So close, but yet so far. Well, here, we'll just test this winch here, because this one's got one. Oops, that's my locking strap I'm testing. Ah! So I gotta look into the locking straps, too. So my locking strap script is reaching further than that. Can I get this? Oh, there it is. So B. Oh, weird. So B is not working for some reason. I wonder why. Oh, here we go. So there's the issue. Attempt running nil with mount to tree. So it might be just something in the script that's not loving me. I could be using the wrong script. I won't be able to tell until I go play with the engine. So anyway, part of the winch works. So maybe we don't have that yet. That was my first try with it there. So now here we go, testing this little hill that we built. So this is again the same tracks that we had. They do float off the ground a bit because again that's all stuff I gotta play with in the editor when it comes out. Let's see how it handles this hill. Slows down a teeny bit, but nothing crazy. So it does want to buck really bad, which is really interesting with the suspension. I'm going to see if I can actually drop it down the hills here so you guys can see what happens when it falls over. Actually, I'll probably do it when I go face first here. So I went down this cliff. There you go. And woo! Right through the ground. See you later, Gator. So that's probably a collision issue I just need to fix, obviously. Because I don't know, can I jump through these machines? No, so this one doesn't do it. Wonder if that's just... anyway, that's something totally different. But anyway, I will leave it at that for now. I just wanted to show you guys kind of an update. Again, another little bit of a longer video for you guys to see kind of the back end. So yes, ugly as all hell looking, but the physics are kind of... At least the dynamics are there. There's going to be a lot of tweaking and a lot of stuff I got to do to make it get that feel back. I got to figure out what's going on with these trees to make them feel so different. They look great, but they just feel really light, which might be beneficial because if they are lighter, and I need to bring the machine's weights down a bit, then we'll be able to make them more incorporable with the in-game stuff. Or poor Ford or just hanging out here without its tires. All right, gang, I'll leave it at that. And if I get some more cool updates, hopefully the next one will be like, better visuals or something to give you guys something to look at. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.